First today on The World from A to Z, fluorescent nanomaterial. And you. Okay, maybe it doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, but it is possible that fluorescent nanomaterial could be a crime scene breakthrough. In the United Kingdom, research is underway on a new kind of powder that can help capture fingerprints. Yes, powder is already being used and has been for decades to get fingerprints from crime scenes. But scientists at a British university are using nanoparticles, think much smaller or finer powders, to capture fainter prints in more detail. And they say the fluorescent part makes the prints stand out more so evidence can be gathered faster. The material they're using is partially made from powdered shrimp or lobster shells, and it aims to help investigators identify finger marks that are invisible to the naked eye. If fluorescent nanomaterial pans out, researchers think it might help solve cases that went cold long ago. Another advancement in technology is on the way in today's show. This is The World from A to Z, and I'm Carl Azuz, always happy to see you. Yesterday, we showed you how TikTok was being used to stir up enthusiasm for the upcoming US election. But how much longer will TikTok itself be available in the US? Congress has given TikTok a deadline. It has until January 19th to either sell its American operations to an American company or to face a ban in the US. Why? TikTok is owned by a Chinese company, and US officials say Chinese law allows that nation's communist government to collect personal information about TikTok's American users. The US also says the app could be used to highlight information that's favorable to the Chinese government, essentially to spread Chinese propaganda. TikTok denies doing that and says it only collects the kind of data that other popular apps collect. It also says it would never share that data with China's government, that the US deadline doesn't give it enough time to find a buyer, and that banning the app would violate Americans' First Amendment rights concerning free speech. American lawyers say this isn't about speech, but instead national security and ownership. TikTok has more than 170 million users in the US, and several legal experts believe the case is headed for the US Supreme Court.
Word of knowledge. Health officials estimate between 7 and 8% of Americans have what disorder? Asthma, obsessive compulsive disorder, multiple sclerosis, type 1 diabetes. Of these options, the most common disorder, which affects between 7 and 8% of Americans, is asthma.
Fall is in the air, and so is large amounts of ragweed, which can be especially dangerous for those living with asthma.
This is actually a time when asthma flare-ups and hospitalizations tend to significantly increase, and especially in our children.
Dr. Sandra Hong with Cleveland Clinic says high levels of allergens, along with exposure to common respiratory viruses, combine to create a potential problem for asthma sufferers, but she says you can help prevent symptoms from getting worse.
You need to touch base with your healthcare providers to create an asthma action plan.
That will include personalized ways to control asthma, which medications to take, when to take them, and when to seek emergency care if symptoms get worse. Next, have medications ready.
If for some reason during the summertime you stopped taking them or you forgot to take them, I would say please get back on your controller medications.
Finally, Hong says to know your triggers and work to avoid them. Stay indoors during high pollen count times, keep pets that have been outside off the bed, and be aware of mold exposure if you've been walking in fallen leaves.
Although asthma is a chronic condition, you can absolutely do things to prevent it from controlling your life. So it's really important to stay healthy, stay informed, and take care of your lungs.
I'm Mandy Gaither.
On this date in world history. September 18th, 1793 saw the first parade in the U.S. Capitol. But that wasn't the main thing that made the event historic. The fanfare was held in honor of President George Washington, who was there to lay the cornerstone of the Capitol building. It's believed the stone contains a silver plate with an inscription on it, but metal detectors haven't been able to find it, and the US Senate says no one today knows exactly where the cornerstone is. On this date in 1870, an explorer named Nathaniel P. Langford wrote a description of a geyser in the western US. Because it sent boiling columns of water into the air every 15 to 20 minutes, Langford said observers had given it the name Old Faithful. And for a while after that, explorers reportedly stuck their dirty clothes into the geyser, waited for it to erupt, and then walked away with wet but clean garments.
Where in the world? This place forms part of the western border of the Black Sea. It's a republic in Eastern Europe that has its own official language. Its capital is Bucharest. This is Romania, a country of more than 18 million people.
Next topic today focuses on lasers. The term dates back to the 1950s. It's an acronym for Light Amplification by Stimulated Emission of Radiation. Lasers are used today in everything from eye surgery to scanning barcodes to taunting cats. But researchers in Romania are working to advance laser technology and the potential uses for it.
This research center in Romania is home to the world's most powerful laser, and it's opening the door to all kinds of technological advances. Long rows of red and black boxes house 2 laser systems.
Okay, I'm ready to deliver you the signal.
Monitored from a control room, the lasers use a technique called chirped pulse amplification, allowing for an increase in power while keeping the intensity safe. CPA is considered an enormous step forward in laser technology and earned scientists a Nobel Prize in Physics in 2018. It works by stretching ultra-short laser pulses, reducing their peak power before amplifying and compressing them together again, creating the shortest and most intense laser pulses ever seen. Lasers vibrate energetic particles in sync to create a tight light wave. In an interview with Live Science, photonics engineer Peter Delfiet compared the quality of this light with the white light we're used to. Quote, "Think of an army marching in formation compared with a crowd of people milling around a town square. There's a lot more to the science, but essentially all the waves of the laser sync tightly, creating a thin, condensed beam, often refined by using mirrors." There are high expectations of the laser in Romania: cancer treatment, dealing with nuclear waste, clearing man-made debris from space, even as more powerful lasers are in the works.
We're now headed to the Keystone State, the Pine Tree State, and the land of enchantment. From the borough of Somerset, Pennsylvania, a warm welcome to Mr. Walters' class. Great to see y'all at Somerset Area Junior High School. From the town of Old Orchard Beach, we've got Mrs. McGill's class watching from LaRanger Memorial School. Thanks for spending time with us from Maine. And the city of Albuquerque is our third stop. That's where Mrs. Flores' class is watching from La Cueva High School. Hello to our viewers in New Mexico. When Gayla Peavy sang about wanting a hippopotamus for Christmas, she must have meant one like the pygmy hippopotamus from a zoo in Thailand, which just went viral because, well, baby pygmy hippo. Her name is Mu Deng, which translates to bouncy pork in English. She's brought a surge of visitors to the zoo, as well as a surge of online shares, and officials say that's kind of a mixed bag. Pygmy hippos are endangered. There are only an estimated 2,000 of them in the wild. And NBC News reports that Mu Deng is so popular that workers are concerned about her safety. The zoo has placed limits on visitors, and it plans to use the extra money from the crowds to improve her enclosure and raise awareness. Of course, you don't have to use your hippocampus or spend a lot of time hypothesizing to see endless possibilities in pausing to appreciate the hippocratitude of the zoo's newest hippest resident. There's nothing polarizing about her appearance, so we mustn't argue her being the hip poster child for cuteness. I'm Carl Azuz, and that's the world from A to Z. You are the best part of what we do. You mean the world to me, so please come back tomorrow.